Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the instant match reaction to a really tight game, it must be said, for Newcastle United over in Baku. Of course, I'm taking the mick a little bit. They have beat Qarabag 6-1. Not Qarabag, as the TNT commentator called it. He must have been watching the lads at Gallagher shots, because I nearly said that so many times this week. But Newcastle United dominant in this game, certainly in the first half, battering Qarabag 6-1 in Baku. 4 hours ahead of the UK is Baku. I hope there's some late bars open over there, because there'll be some Geordies looking to get on that Geordie juice after that performance. We'll get stuck right into it, talk about how the game went, talk about the key performances, the key moments, especially one at half time, and go through everything to do with the game. If that's the kind of thing you guys like, smash subscribe below, help get us to the next milestone, which is 13,000. We're creeping up there. We're nearly over 12,700. So we're getting there. Thank you so much to all the support. And if you like the channel, like it and hype it and all that. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Don't watch it. Go and watch something else on YouTube. Go watch cats chasing things, people falling downstairs, whatever. There's loads of entertainment on YouTube for you. If you don't like this stuff, don't watch it. Don't hang around and leave hateful comments, because we just don't read them. We just delete them anyway. But listen, who's hating tonight? My word, what a performance from Newcastle United. Let's get stuck in to the lineup. So the lineup came out, and we weren't really surprised. Eddie Howe went with a really strong lineup, to be fair. So Nick Pope came back in goal from the FA Cup at the weekend when Aaron Ramsdale played. We had Trippier, Thiaw, Byrne, and Hall. So still no Botman because he's injured. Joe Willock came in for Jacob Ramsey alongside Sandro Tonali. Anthony Elanga came in for Jacob Murphy, who, other than getting fouled really on Saturday, didn't do much in that game. So Elanga had a chance to shine, with Voltemada back in that deep row with Harvey Barnes, and Anthony Gordon was leading the line up front. Now, in the past, me included, have said Anthony Gordon is not a centre forward and he can't score goals. Well, you may have just told me I'm wrong in this game, but listen, we'll have to talk about the opposition as well. So we started the game, and we were just dominant, really, from the first minute. You could see the levels. In no disrespect to Qarabag, I mean, Liverpool smashed them 6-0 at Anfield. How these lot drew with Chelsea is beyond me. Chelsea must have been on the piss before this game, to draw with this lot, because they were levels below Newcastle United. This looked like a performance that, when you draw a non-league team in the FA Cup and you play a strong 11 and absolutely smoke them. That's what it looked like. We go 1-0 up in the first 2 minutes of the game. Anthony Gordon is released. It's a lovely little ball by Dan Burn, who has all the time in the world just to venture forward, like Franz Bernsenbauer. Oh, my camera's going to... well, let's get the camera back on, hopefully. Here we go. We're back in the game. Technology, you gotta love it. Right, let me change my microphone, because that's gone tits up. Right, now I'm back in the game. Right, so that, like Franz Bernenbauer, wandering up the pitch, lovely little outside of the football. Anthony Gordon, who breaks the line, slips in the bottom corner. Looked like prime Michael Owen in the 90s with that finish. It was a great finish from Anthony Gordon, and we're 1-0 up. And Qarabag are just completely battered, backs to the wall. We're all over them. The 9th minute comes in. It's a lovely crossover from Kieran Trippier. Yeah, I think the corner gets cleared, comes out, and then the chip it over. Trippier, a lovely ball over the back stick. It's a lovely kind of curling header by Malick Thiaw, and he puts it in the back of the net for 2-0. It's a brilliant goal. It really, really is. Then we get the third one, Anthony Gordon. Again, the ball comes through. I don't know what the defender's doing. The Qarabag defense was so bad. They were talking about playing Benny Hill music on TNT. Honestly, I have seen better defending in pub team football. I've played pub team football. I've seen some better defending from kids who got it at 3 o'clock in the morning. Their defender's trying to control it. I don't know what he's doing. It bounces off his shin. Anthony Gordon just runs into him. It bounces off the kid, goes to Anthony Gordon. He runs through, keeps himself nice and composed. That's what we've accused Gordon not doing in the past. He toe pokes it into the back of the net. We get a penalty before that as well. I'm looking at the goals here. I'm really forgetting the goals. We get a penalty. Oh, for fuck's sake, his camera's gone off again. What the fucking hell is going on? Excuse me, guys. Sorry, guys, I'm having some real trouble here with my technology. I don't know what on earth is going on. Mark may need to jump in for a second here, potentially in the background if he's able to. I'm trying to get back into the situation here. Let me just see what's going on with my camera. I'm back. Right, I'm going to try to get back. I don't need Mark to sub in at the minute. What the fuck is going on? It's not the podcast, George. No, I've got no podcasts around me. I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I'm going to try and wrap this up maybe quickly because I'm having gremlins here. But yeah, so we get the penalty. It's a harsh penalty for Qarabag. The kid's on the floor, slide it through. He puts his hand down to kind of stop himself from falling when he's slide tackling, hits his hand, they get a penalty. Gordon sticks it away. Keeper gets close. Keeper was quite good, to be fair. If it wasn't for the keeper, it might have got beat about 9 or 10-0, I think, if it wasn't for the goalkeeper. Oh, fucking hell. The mic's gone tits about. What the fucking hell is going on here tonight, honestly? What a nightmare. What the fuck is going on? Right. Here we go. I'm back now. Microphone's back on. Fuck me. Right. Let's try and get into this. Honestly, maybe I'm getting sabotaged by Qarabag fans hacking into the system. Anyway, right. So the pen goes away. Then Gordon gets the next opportunity, slips in. He gets a hat trick. Anthony Gordon, who can't finish, gets a hat trick. Lovely finish. And then the little bit of the controversy coming through. So the penalty comes in, the second penalty of the night. Anthony Gordon rounds the keeper. It's blatantly a penalty. He gets clipped. And this is where some of the issue comes through, that Trippier comes over to him. And I was thinking it myself, to be fair. I was thinking, I wonder if he gives this penalty to Nick Voltemada. Nick Voltemada sprinted up when the penalty was awarded, I think, wanting the penalty. I think Trippier came over and he said to Gordon, let Nick have the penalty, get him get a goal, keep his confidence going, all that. And Gordon was having none of it at all. He was looking down, having none of it at all. Trippier was obviously saying to him, listen, let him have the penalty as the captain. And he just wasn't having any of it at all. Gordon steps up, smashes the penalty into the back of the net, and we're 5-0 up there. And then we're walking off at half time, and Anthony Gordon and Trippier are still having a little bit of a barney here. Trippier is absolutely furious at Gordon. You can see him pointing there. He's not happy at all. He's saying, I fucking told you to give him that penalty by the looks of it. It's not, Gordon's kind of not engaging in the argument, but you can see he's not happy with it. Oh, God, this fucking camera again. 2 seconds, guys. Fuck me. This is dry. Sorry, guys. I'm back here. Let me just fix my camera in a second here. I think we're doing it. Is it? There we go. Right, I'm back with a proper camera. I'm having a mare with this camera. So I'm trying to fix things up. I'll fix my microphone. Second, this is the last time I'm going to do this. I don't know what the fuck has happened to my extension thing. It's about to get launched out the fucking window. So anyway, Trippier and Gordon having a serious debate there about what's going on. Not happy. Go off at halftime. I'm kind of on Trippier's side, really, for me, because I think I understand what he's trying to do. I understand that he's trying to get a little bit of that team morale going, get a little bit of that confidence going in terms of, get Voltemada the goal, get him on a score sheet, get his confidence going for the weekend, all that kind of stuff. And it didn't really transpire that way. But listen, we'll come out in the second half. I thought that Qarabag actually turned it up a little bit in the second half. They made some changes. They had to get better because they were terrible in the first half. They then get their goal. The lad who scores, I can't even begin to pronounce his name. I'll be as successful as my fucking camera tonight, I think, by the looks of it. Is it Karakwiliev or whatever? He gets through, smashes it in. It's a bit weak hand from Nick Pope, goes in the back of the net, and they get their goal back. And then we push on. Jacob Murphy scores a goal. It's deflected and it goes in for his first Champions League goal as well. He was buzzing with that. I'm glad that they give it to Jacob Murphy anyway, to be fair. We just dominated the whole game, really. So, we didn't push on and score any more goals. Sean Neave comes on, misses a chance that really should have went. And their goalkeeper pulled off an unbelievable double save. First from Dan Burns' header, and then from Willis Sula as well. Anthony Gordon as well, it must be said, when he went off, him and Trippier had a really nice kind of professional embrace to say they put all that shit behind them, which is good to see. Because you don't want to see anything going on and having any bother and all that stuff. I understand where Trippier was coming from with it, but I also understand that Gordon's a penalty taker and he's got to do what he's got to do, kind of a thing, But I thought it was a dominant performance. You couldn't ask for a better first leg than that, really. 6-1, we go to the second leg at St James's Park. It's a hell of a lead to take. I don't know what Eddie Howe will do. He doesn't seem to want to rest players and play kids, but I think, you couldn't ask for a better leg than that, really. And we're pretty much through, in all fairness. I can't see Qarabag beating us 6-0 at St James's Park. In terms of the first half stats, this is hilarious because this, if anything tells you that possession means nothing in football if you don't do anything with it, it's this right here. 50-50% in possession, I reckon, an even game. And then this just shows you the difference. 16 shots. We had 24 shots in total tonight. We've got 18 on target and scored 6 goals. And that's the kind of Newcastle we want to see. And this is the 3rd away win on the spin. Something has definitely changed after Brentford. We went into this game with confidence after the Aston Villa game. Good performances. I thought Nick Voltemade again was quite tidy in the deep role, even though he didn't really influence the game massively, but he was always an option, quick feet, looking for passes, keeping the ball moving. I thought Trippier was excellent tonight. I've got to give man of the match to Anthony Gordon. You don't score 4 goals in the Champions League and win 6-1 and not get man of the match, in my opinion. How Harvey Barnes has not scored in that game is beyond me. Harvey Barnes will be thinking to himself, how in the hell have I not scored? It's like falling off a boat and not hitting water. That's what's happened tonight with Harvey Barnes. It's absolutely unbelievable. Honestly, Harvey Barnes not scoring a goal tonight is unpredictable as my camera extension there, to be brutally honest with you. You're right, Vincent. He should have got one in the first half. He had chances. Their keeper was mint, to be fair. Their keeper, they got beat 6-1. Their keeper was their best player, hands down. Some of the saves he was making. If anything, for their keeper, he may have put himself in the shot window for maybe a bigger club than Qarabag potentially in the Champions League. And that might give him a little bit of solace there as well. But yeah, for me, Anthony Gordon's man of the match, I think, to play like that. He was sharp, he was quick, he was dynamic, his running was there, his finishing was good. The first goal, and then is it the hat-trick goal, the good finishes. That's what we've, criticised Gordon for. He went through a couple of times and probably should have lifted it over the keeper. McCoy's was saying it on commentary. McCoy's was a great finisher. And he was saying, just lift it over the top of the goalkeeper. So I think Gordon could have had about 5 or 6 on another night, to be fair to him, even without penalties. But it's a brilliant performance from the lads. It's a great scoreline to go into the second leg. And you can't ask for any better than that, really, in all fairness. Yes, they were really poor in the first half, but you've got to beat what's in front of you. Newcastle beat them comfortably. Yeah, it was good to see Neve get some minutes, Vincent. George says that was tight. It really was, wasn't it? Yeah. Mark550 says that was another great performance. Chris says, I know we weren't facing a great team, but his formation looks so much better. It makes the MF and the forwards in it. Yeah, I agree with that, Chris. I think maybe for a temporary measure, putting Voltemade there is probably a good thing to do because he can be more influential in the game. It's getting the better out of Gordon as well, to be fair, isn't it? So yeah, Marcus, I was getting spoke before with this. It's this little extension cord thing here, right? So I've only got one jack in the laptop and I got to plug this in. I think this is fucked because that has not been working very well tonight. But listen, I'm here now on the wider camera, which I don't normally like, which isn't as good as the other one, but we'll get into it. We'll fix it. We'll sort it out. Got a super chat in there from Brian. How doesn't rate the kids or can't integrate them? Yeah, possibly a bit of both. But, Neve looked all right when he come on. I thought his movement was good. He put a good cross in for Malick. Should have maybe put that away. Obviously unlucky with the chance that came to him as well. But I thought Neve's movement was quite positive, to be fair. Phil says, 4 straight home games coming after City on Saturday. Carrying my bag. Didn't know what hit them. Flash before goals. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Gordon says, maybe I'm a miserable old bastard, but conceding to them ruined. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure that Pope will be disappointed, to be fair, because he'll want to know what was going on with that goal. Louis says, is Elanga my cameraman? It certainly feels that way, mate. It's normally like one little glitch and then I sort it out and it's all right. But what was going on there? I nearly had to tag Markin. God knows what he's doing. Probably running after his 400 animals in the zoo. And he probably wouldn't have been able to jump on, God bless him. But I managed to pull it back round. So managed to sort it out. Yeah, Robert says Nick's hold-up play was good tonight. Yeah, I thought the ball stuck to him really, really well, to be fair. Marcus is saying he's confident we'll see some epic wins this month. I mean, get City done on Saturday. Then we've got home games, as was said before there, in terms of Everton and Manchester United. Manchester United are kind of rejuvenated under Carrick. It's going to be a really tough game. But the way Newcastle play on that confidence, the way we're popping the ball around, the movement, everybody wants it, nobody's hiding. People are really stepping up in their levels. So, yeah, I think for me, really, really good. Really, really good. And that's what we want going into the business end of the season. Bordertoon says, better chance, Chris, are the Qarabag defenders in charge of your cameras? It certainly seems to be, mate, doesn't it? I don't know if the camera's better or worse than the Qarabag defenders, not in that first half. However, from India, says Nilish, thank you very much for tuning in. Mate, a long way away, but thank you very much for tuning in. Phil says, this must be what Barcelona felt like in 2009. Certainly seemed that way, didn't it? Absolutely did. David saying, some performance, Barnes and Langer were both crap, but we still scored 6. Yeah, I think I think Barnes had some moments. Barnes always has moments, doesn't he? But just didn't quite bite for Barnes tonight. But listen, if we can beat someone 6-1 and Barnes ain't scoring, we've definitely stepped up as a team. Yeah, Leo, this is Chris. If you turned it on and off again, I literally unplugged it, mate, and just put the microphone back in, and that's what I had to do. So yeah, not great in terms of technology. But listen, this is what happens when you do live shows. Sometimes shit happens, and you got to just try and jump on and do what you do, to be fair. But yeah, for me, like I said, Newcastle had to get the job done tonight. I think when you saw that strong 11, you fancied us to get a result. I mean, I predicted 3-0 in one of the predictor things I was filling in. I thought I was maybe being a bit generous there. Mark did the preview, did a great job. Thanks, everybody, for the views and the love for Mark on the preview. Doesn't normally do them, but I was away, as you remember, Evermore on tour. I was away on the day job, so I couldn't quite do it. So Mark stepped in and did a great job on the preview. But as always, his prediction was a bit safe. Not shy, Mark, a bit safe. You're a bit safe. You're a football pragmatist, aren't you? But I said 3-0 to us, and I thought I was being over generous. But holy shit, like, the first 10 minutes of that game, you just thought, wow, like that, that is this is a game that could be a cricket score, in all fairness. Yeah, it's a good point there. Comment there from Link saying the perfect game, bring on the youngsters. Why did it take so long to bring on just one? I don't know. I mean, that's a question that I don't think you'll ever really get asked by the journalists. We've kind of gone through all that already. I'm not going to go over all ground, but a lot of the journalists just won't ask him the questions. And to be fair, when you've won 6-1 away from home and you've sealed the leg, really, there's not really much they can ask him. In the return leg, in the home leg, because that's, kind of sandwiched in between a lot of fixtures, he could easily play a few of the kids. He could play Leo Shahar, could play Sean Neve, could play some of the younger lads, Alex Murphy. We're 6-1 up from the first leg. So you don't really have to, go full hammer and tongue with it. But we'll have to see what he does. It all depends on, on how many games we've got in around us as well. Yeah, I agree. Robert Byrne and Trippier getting assist tonight. I thought Trippier was fantastic tonight. I really do. And, I wrote Trippier off. I said I thought he was done. He's too old. He shouldn't be in the team. Legs have gone. And he did look really ropey when he come back in. But I tell you what, the last few weeks, I think he's looked absolutely brilliant. I think he's looked back to, what we know from Trippier, that calmness, that the quality on the ball's never left him. It's never left him, but it's that ability to get them down the park that's left him, because this team does play with a level of intensity and pressing him, and we've gone back to basics, as Howe said, and that's what he needed to do to get the tune out of this team again. He's done that, credit to Howe, and we are getting the results again because he's gone back to basics. And I think that takes a toll on a player like Kieran Trippier, who's 35 years old now, nearly 36. But that quality was there. I mean, we were levels ahead of them. Trippier playing tonight at 35 looked like he was 27 against that lot, because they were so far off his levels, for me, that that's why he looked so good tonight, Trippier. But he did well against Villa and he did well against Spurs as well. So we can't be too harsh on Trippier, I think. But if we play him too much, we may burn him out. Tino should be back, hopefully, in the next few weeks, and that's going to be a massive asset, I think, for the club to have Tino back as well, and then they could rotate, in terms of him and Trippier. So yeah, for me, I think we are looking in a much better position now, I think, than we did before. Just gonna have a look at this here. So James is saying, I've noticed whenever Newcastle win, the commentators always focus on how bad the opposing team have been. We scored 6 in the Champions League. Let's focus on that and how good we are. Yeah, I mean, McCoy was saying we were brilliant at one point, but a lot of it was about how bad Qarabag was, to be fair. Phil said their defense made the Boom Song and Bramble partnership look really decent. I had to blink and make sure it wasn't them. Or the Gooch. Remember the Gooch who played for her? I saw someone on TikTok with him, actually, not too long ago. So, yeah, the Gooch, the American defender, he was shitting on, wasn't he? Chris is saying, walk in the park. It sure was, matey. It sure was. Phil saying 11 goals in 3 games, 3 wins away. This is more like it. Safe trip home for the players and the fans. Absolutely. I was watching some of the Geordie Journal content earlier. Top lads, them. They were talking about Baku and stuff like that as well. Yeah, there is some ropey places. There's ropey places everywhere, to be fair. But yeah, stay safe. Traveling Geordies that are over there, I think they'll have a mint night, to be fair to them. And yeah, hopefully there's no bother. Get a nice few drinks in them, have a good time, get themselves back safe, and enjoy that leg, enjoy that trip, because it was a hell of a trip for them with that result. Biggest away fixture for us in Europe, wasn't it? And Eddie Howe's now gone past the late great Sir Bobby Robson, whose birthday was today, I think it was. God rest his soul. So that's a record broken with Eddie with Bobby's record, and now Gordon's gone past Shearer in terms of, I think, the highest European scorer, isn't he? Got 10 goals in the Champions League this season. Only Mbappe's got more than him, and he's the first player to score 4 goals in a European fixture. So we'll never take that away from Gordon, whether he stays or goes. Vincent saying, nice to see Sandro smiling and putting the exit rumours behind him, at least until the summer, when the circus starts again after the World Cup. Sandro stepping in Bruno's absence. Absolutely. I think, we all said it about Sandro Tonali. He didn't look happy. We all said we thought he was down in tools a little bit and he wanted to go away. But I think definitely in Bruno's absence, he's massively stepped up. And this could be off the back of this meeting that they had after the Brentford game with the senior players, where they said, look, you've got to step up and you've got to do your bit. And someone like Sandro, on his day, is one of our best players. He bossed that game against Villa. Without him, we don't win that game. And he was good again tonight, box to box, tracking people, getting on the ball, keeping it moving, and we've got City at the weekend. And again, if Sandro continues that form as well, he could really, play well against that City midfield. Listen, we could play well and still lose that game. I'm not going to lose me fucking marbles after another defeat to City like I did the other week. But yeah, for me, we could play well and still get beat off City. But the performance, as long as the performance is there, I think that's what we need to see, to be brutally honest with you. Yeah, Stephen says it's quite easy, this away malarkey stuff. Yeah, what were we worried about, mate? What were we worried about? Comment there from Zeppalode saying, yeah, it's a shame Nick never got a goal. Yeah, he came close to that header as well. That's why I would like them to have the penalty. I understand why Gordon's took the penalty. He's the nominated penalty taker. He wants a goal. He's one of the. I think eventually he wants to almost be like a centre forward. I still don't think he's there yet. I think he's a winger who likes to tuck inside and take shots, but he's not clinical enough to get the goals. But that rapid pace that he has, you saw how dangerous that can be tonight. That the finishes, the first one and the third one, they were very kind of Owen-esque in the 90s. Before he came to us, we fucking despised him. Remember when he was at Liverpool and he used to make that little run on the shoulder, kind of starters run out to the right and then just put the finish to the left-hand side under the keeper's arm or through his legs or whatever. And I saw a bit of that in Gordon tonight. But Gordon wants to be that player eventually, I think. And that's why he took the ball and wanted the goal. But I think sometimes you've got to look at the bigger picture. I think the harmony of the team, that's what Trippier was trying to achieve, I think, in that kind of half-time little spat that they had. I think he wanted Voltemada to get a goal. He wanted everyone to be around Voltemada. Let his conference go. Gordon already had his hat-trick. The headlines were all going to be about Gordon. Didn't need that fourth goal. But then I understand if Gordon's a penalty taker, he wants to take it, then he has to take it. But good to see them calming it down, as I say, before they left the pitch. But that's something maybe Gordon has to keep an eye on. Don't let your ego get out of check, son, because he has been a little bit full of himself, even from having a good season. He's come back and started to play a lot better over the last few weeks. He's been excellent in the Champions League this season. I mean, we've played teams that, weren't quality, even though they had the big names, the Benficas, the PSVs. We beat them because they're not the same teams that they were once upon a time ago, but they're still Champions League kind of stalwart clubs, so we had to beat them. But Gordon's been good in those games, not been good in the Premier League. But, hopefully getting 4 goals will give him some confidence to come back to the Premier League and actually do the business as well in the Premier League. Kevin's saying, I lived in Istanbul for 7 years until recently. Azerbaijan is another 12,000 fucking miles from there. Wow. Any fans who've managed to get there deserve all the medals. So where the lads. Wow, Kevin. Well said, mate. It's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, what a fixture that was. Everyone wanted to be in Monaco, didn't they? Imagine the Geordies going to Monaco for a little cheeky jaunt to France, little hour-and-a-half flight or whatever, little jaunt around Monaco, back you go. But yeah, unbelievable fixture, load of travelling. It shows you how loyal those Newcastle fans are to get there. Absolutely brilliant. They've been there, they're 4 hours ahead. They've been there all day, enjoying themselves. You could see them in the crowd as well. Absolutely brilliant reactions when we got the goal so early on, and I'm sure they've enjoyed every single moment of that away game. Absolutely brilliant. Pooley Mag saying the lads are clearly behind Eddie Howe. Whether you're in or out, 3 away wins in a row is massive. Let's get behind the team. No, I agree, Pooley Mag. I absolutely agree with that, mate. I questioned it. A lot of channels questioned it. I wonder whether these lads were playing for the manager. I think there was enough uncertainty there to ask that question, but I think the lads have emphatically answered it. I think after the Brentford performance, I think, the way they played against Spurs, pushing Eddie in front of the crowd, the way they've played against Villa, the way they've played tonight, the senior lads stepping up and really grabbing it by the scruff of the neck, Tonali raising his game again. I think, yeah, we have been answered that these lads are still playing for the manager, and that's great because you want the manager to succeed and you want the players to do well for a manager who's supported them so much as well, signed a lot of them, helped them improve as players. You don't want to see a manager thrown under the bus. I don't like managers being thrown under the bus. Sean Dyche at Forest, I don't really think he's been thrown under the bus by the players, by the owner, yeah. But I hate it when players down tools for a manager, and then all of a sudden the same players look like world beaters when a new guy comes in. I hate that with football, and I'm glad that our players haven't done that to Eddie Howe. I really am. Whether I think the future for Eddie Howe, maybe doesn't involve Newcastle or not is entirely my opinion or anyone's opinion. But those players have showed that they still want to play for this manager, and there's still something to play for. And credit to them. And let's hope that continues till the end of the season. I really do hope that is the case. Yeah, you're right, Kev. Yeah, the Forest owner is a disgrace. Who would want to go there? My word. Who would want to go there? Yeah, Chris, you're right. Ramsey and Willock have been really good in the last few games. Willock is looking close to the player he was before that Achilles injury. I mean, when Joe Willock's at it and on it, he's such a good ball carrier in terms of running with the ball and, help getting us up the pitch and everything else as well. I think he's a good athlete, is Joe Willock, and he's got a little bit of quality. He can finish when he gets into the final third, so yeah, for me, it's good to see Joe Willock back to that level of form. And I can understand why I didn't sell him now. I was thinking, what, 20 million, snap somebody's hand off. But, it's, I can see why they've kept him if that's the way he's been looking and training. Mark says, well, one sub away from 12,700, guys. So if you haven't, smash that button and help get us to that 12.7 mark. Would absolutely love you to do it. George is saying, somebody subscribe. Please, will somebody subscribe? I've been through loads of camera pain tonight. So if you haven't subscribed, do it for me. Come on, guys. I've had a mare with this camera, and I've battled through this, like the professional that I am. So somebody click that button and help get us to that 12,700. Chris saying Captain Trippier shouldn't be ignored. Yeah, bad attitude from Gordon. Bad attitude. Yeah, I think that's going to be a split. I think, Chris, it's going to be some people will back Gordon for it, and some people will have a go at him for it. But at the end of the day, well done. Who's clicked that button? Well done, guys. We're now at 12,700. You legends. So only 300 more. So 300 more, you can click it. We'll get to 13,000. We'll give away a prize. There we go. I don't know if we'll have 300 in the next 5 minutes, but it's always worth a dabble. But yeah, I think that there'll be two different sides of the whole Gordon thing. But at the end of the day, I said this to Mark before, come on, we've just won 6-1. Who gives a fuck really in the grand scheme of things? You know what I mean? It's it would have been nice for him to have give that to Voldemort that took it away. But listen, 6-1 victory. We're pretty much home and hosed, for the last 16. It's going to be Chelsea or Barcelona. Let me know in the comments who you would rather have, Chelsea or Barcelona. I think Chelsea for me. I think we can beat Chelsea. Barcelona, I think, we could beat them, but I just think they were way too good for us when they played us in St. James's Park earlier on. But I think we could beat Chelsea. We absolutely could beat Chelsea if we turn up. Chelsea can be streaky. There's no doubt about it. Even though they've got some quality players, we're billion on quid worth of players, but we could definitely beat them. Absolutely, I think if we turn up and play the way that we know we can play. Yeah, Kais is saying Chelsea. If Chelsea can't beat these, we need Chelsea in the next round. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Chelsea must be watching that again, thinking, fucking hell, how did we draw against them? Newcastle have just wiped their arse with them. Unbelievable. Stephen says, bring on Barca. They're going through a sticky patch at the moment. Oh, I don't pay much attention to La Liga. I dip in and out. But yeah, that would be good. That would be really good if we could beat Barcelona. It'd be a hell of a tie, wouldn't it? You win the Champions League for that, to play big teams like that. And if you beat them and get through the next stage, in fact, now that's a great performance. Yes, I second that, Mark, and thank you for all the new subs tonight. Legends. A lot of you absolutely are legends. Thank you so much, everybody, for that. Yes, George is buzzing. We're in the big 16. The big money. That's the big money. And we need that as well. We need that. We need the money to come in to help the financial headroom. I hate saying all that business shit. I do that all day for a day job, but it's the truth. Newcastle need that headroom to spend on those players to enhance the squad, but we also need Champions League as well. So it's really important that we crack on in the Premier League and try and get the Champions League position, or win the FA Cup and try and get a European position at least. But we need European football. There is no doubt about it at all. So yeah, we have to do that, unless we win this fucking thing, which I don't think that we will. It's sorry, guys, not to be negative after 6-1 mauling. I don't think we're going to win, to be fair. Fila says, I'd like to have Waltmore take it 200%, but Gordon is taking a logical decision, not an emotional one. Yeah, maybe that's the case. Maybe Gordon has taken all the emotion out of it and he's just said, fuck it. Let's just smash it into the back of the net, and that would be that. A comment there from Chris. So Chris is saying, RIP dad, 4 years. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry to hear that, Chris. Rest in peace to your dad, mate. It's always a tough day when you got to go through that as well, mate. I have my own one for my mum as well, once a year. I have that date when she left us, and then also our birthday's a week before Christmas, so that's always a tough one as well, mate. But yeah, thoughts with you, brother. Hope everything's all okay, mate. I'm sure he would have loved that. And if there's any justice in the world, he's up there with a massive fucking TV and a nice cold can of beer watching the tune batter Qarabag 6-1. He's probably saying, who the fuck are Qarabag? Probably. So, yes, much love to you, and rest in peace to your dad as well, mate. Let's get some more comments on. Do a couple more, guys, and then we will shoot off because we've got stuff to do, haven't we? Stuff to do. Pooley Mags again is saying, Newcastle with nothing to lose could be very dangerous prospect. I'd back us at home against anyone. To be fair, when we turn up at home like that, we can beat anybody. You know, I was at the second leg of the game when we beat Arsenal at home, and everybody thought Arsenal were going to come and do us, and we absolutely blasted them away. And that was one of the best games I've ever been to in my life. And if Newcastle have that confidence in a game against Barcelona, then why couldn't they do it? Why could they not beat Barcelona at St. James's Park? We shouldn't be scared of anybody now. Nobody give us a chance, except David Beckham, by the way. You've got to go back and watch that video. David Beckham actually said we might surprise a few people in the Champions League, and here we are in the last 16. So maybe people need to listen to David Beckham a little bit more, to be fair to him. But, you know, now we're here. You just got to say, hey, get on with it, you know. Whoever we get is whoever we get. You know, it looks like we've won this tie. I know there's still a second leg to go. It's disrespectful, Qarabag, to say that, but it's hard to claw back a 6-1 deficit, isn't it, really? Or a 5-goal deficit, you know, to even get a level in a Champions League, especially when you're playing Azerbaijan like they do, and the standard of football is nowhere near like the Premier League. So we look like we're pretty much through. I think we can safely stop saying that. But I don't think we should be asked about who we're getting, you know, because at this stage in the Champions League, you're there on merit. So bring on whoever it is, and hopefully we can smash them. I still want Jose Mourinho to put Real Madrid out as well, to be fair, just because I can't stand Ego FC. I'd love to see them get binned off by Mourinho. And all those who wrote Mourinho off as well, I quite like to see that as well, to be fair, which would be very, very good. Consummate display from all tonight, says Chris. Felt a bit sorry for their keeper. Looked like he'd cry before the second pen. I thought he was excellent though, mate, wasn't he? Like I say, he's probably put himself in the shop window for a bigger club. No disrespect to Qarabag. I thought he was excellent. Chris says, I think we could do well in both cups now that Eddie has shown some adaptability. Yeah, absolutely. Cynical Jim says, apparently the internet's gone off in Sunderland. Well, my camera went off, mate. Is that made in Sunderland or not? No, probably made in China, as most of the stuff is. But yes, that to me was, I'm not surprised the Mackhams have gone a bit quiet, to be fair. Still got to play them. That's the big game. Let's not get too cocky until we beat them at St. James's Park. Then we can start crowing a bit. Martin saying, Toon fans and Cloud9 after that was Sir Bobby Robson looking down and cheering. Well done, the lads. Yeah, massive love to all Bobby's family as well. You know, one of the most enigmatic gentlemen that ever was involved in football, one of the best managers, one of the most glittering CVs ever, you know. And when he came to Newcastle as well, you know, he was of an age, but my word, he turned that whole thing around from us nearly going down to being Champions League regulars, and what a legend. And that was a performance fitting for Sir Bobby Robson as well, to be fair. So it's absolutely brilliant. But I think that's us pretty much done for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for persevering with me with this dodgy fucking extension cord thing. That's getting in the bin. I have to go buy myself a new one, maybe from a better shop than I bought that one, because it wasn't a high quality shop, to be fair. But it's done the job for a while. But I'm gonna have to get another one. To be fair. But thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Help the channel get to the next level, which is 13,000. Hype the video, like it, do everything that you can. We'll be back with the preview for the Manchester City game, and then I'll be back behind the mic on Saturday for the City post-match analysis. Hopefully Newcastle have got a good result, if not a good performance, you know, and then there'll be more games coming thick and fast once again. But keep it ever more, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a cracking evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. What a result that was. Well done to the lads. Well done, Anthony Gordon, for getting 4 goals. And thanks for watching. See you later. Cheers.
celebrate. They have done it.